gorgeous day in Southern Oregon. I am walking in on my Great Alaskan after getting quite a bit of that first Dakota primer on. And this is what it looks like. I worked on this all day yesterday. Lots of sanding. Oh my gosh. The amount of sanding it takes to get things faired out. I mean, this isn't going to be perfect, not like some of the really nice jobs people have done out there, but it's not bad. And some of the things I will just touch up. Now that I've got the first coat of primer on, I will come back and hit a few other things. But overall, pretty good. I mean, look at that go. It's pretty flat. You don't realize how hard those fillets are until you try to get them perfect. They're not perfect. But, as I am quoting from another boat channel out there, done is better than perfect sometimes. So a couple things here. This particular area, because it's heavily exposed and is very prominent, I spent extra time and a lot of extra fairing compound getting this smoothed out. I have to still do a little bit of work on the hatch there, getting that sealed up. This area here was a little bit of rough on the outside. There were some divots there I didn't really notice until I started fairing it. But got the fairing compound in. This area along the fillets here, they're pretty smooth. There's a little bit of waviness in there, but that's one of the things I thought I had done, and then when I really started looking at it, nope, I had to go back and do another layer of fairing compound and get the long boards out and start sanding it. And then I've got all this furniture that I need to paint. So on my docket for the day is my first practice at the Interlux Perfection. And of course I'm out of foam rollers. So I'm gonna have to make a trip into town and get a couple of painting supplies. But you know, this stuff will be good to practice on. I have now completed one coat of the Interlux Perfection paint here, and it's freaking gorgeous. And I've got my second coat of primer on the starboard side, and it's looking pretty good as well. Painting is hard work. I'm exhausted. So, I've got the starboard side looking pretty good, but I ran out of paint. Second coat, I can come back and try to be a little bit more careful in metering it out and making sure that I maintain the wet edge and all that stuff. But, you know, it's looking good. There's a good shine on here. Definitely needs another coat, but probably one more will do it. I don't think I'll have to do 3. But you can see the cabin top is lovely. The bulwark is nice, and the sides are good. Some of my fillets aren't perfect. Over here on the port side, I've got one coat of the Interlux 2-part primer down. And as primer does, it's showing some areas that I did not get adequately finished. So my fillets along here, they're a little too bumpy. I mean, I would love perfection, like I said, but I'm not gonna get there. But they need to be better than this. So you can kind of see where there's primer. Those are a little bit shallow. So I'm going to give this whole thing a sand here. By the way, this tool makes it a lot easier. I just cut a piece of wood, screwed it to a piece of 1-inch PVC. If I need it to be a little softer, I put a little piece of this foam in there. I'm finding these 6-inch sanding discs are actually really good. for that because you kind of keep rotating and keep them fresh. I'm going to do one whole pass down this fillet and get it to the point where it's acceptable. As long as I'm at it, I'll do a pass on this, look for any divots. It's a very useful tool. I haven't found a mechanical tool that does as good a job of this when you're down to the final sand. The little rotating flap sand, the little flap sanders, cone-shaped ones, and all the various sizes are really good for roughing it in. But in the end, if you want that nice gloss, you're going to need something that you can use variable grits on. Two mistakes I've made. I didn't buy enough paint for the base. I've got the primer is great. You get I think a gallon altogether, and it will cover this entire big boat. 1 quart, you really need 2. Well, you need 3 to do the exterior of this boat. So what I found works really well to do the prepping is you sand down the hull to 220 grit probably. Wash it all down with ammonia water, dust it all off with a good dry rag. Then a coat of the primer, sand that down with 180 or so, 120, 180, so it feels good and smooth to the touch. Wash it all down again, sand it, do another coat of the primer, sand that down when it's dry a day later, and wash it all down again, and then do the final, or the coats of your exterior paint. It's a long process. This is a week-long process. Yeah, I can see why people go with the simpler polyurethane, 1-part polyurethanes. But you know, it's part of building a boat. I have scheduled the date of my inspection now. It's in 2 weeks. So the boat is basically ready to go except for hookups and some of the electrical. So yeah, there'll be a lot of details to do after the inspection, but at least that'll let me get her insured. So yeah, carrying on, wearing my arm off, losing weight. Shed a lot of pounds when you're sanding like this. And so keep on sanding.